This is Robert Rogers.
Robert Rogers.
Rob Raj.
I like that.
Rob.
Says, hey gang,
What's up?
do you guys think it would be smart for Valve/Steam to have a big conference at E3 like Sony and Microsoft? They have their new Steam machines and enough of a following that we are near the point of saying Steam is synonymous with PC gaming. And with Nintendo backing away, can Valve fill that void?
Are we near that point? I thought we were far beyond. I thought we totally were this
Yes and no.
PC gaming.
No, it's Origin.
Origin, right? Yeah, my Sim City.
You still have
whatever that is.
You play.
You still have a lot of stuff that's on, like major stuff that's on Steam. League of Legends, all Blizzard games.
True.
So I mean, it's not a monopoly.
Okay,
but
pretty close.
Yeah, they own like 75% of the online PC game sales business.
They're just looking to get Marvin Gardens.
But yeah, so
monopoly.
But here's the question: like, what is gained by being at E3? Like, why go to E3 and try and shout louder than everyone else, and say, look at us, we're like next to everybody else, but we could why not just go and do their own thing?
Yeah,
like
an Apple thing.
Yeah, I mean, that's a great comparison. I mean, Valve is basically the Apple of PC gaming. They own pretty much everything in the category. So, or they distribute it anyway. So why not just have their own announcements when they want to? And whenever Valve sets out,
couldn't you make that pose that same question to Microsoft or Sony?
Absolutely. And E3, in the past at least, in the history of E3, it was not initially supposed to be a consumer event at all. It was supposed to be let's show GameStop and what they should be buying.
Yeah. What's going to be on shelves this holiday season?
Right, and it just kind of escalated from there. But it's not just about consumers anyway. I personally think trying to announce something at E3 is a bad idea. Unless you're trying to impress investors and retail buyers.
I mean, for me, it doesn't make sense because it would almost be sinking to their level, right? Valve, if every time you read,
harsh.
I mean, this is
PC
how
Master Race.
This is how I look at Valve, right? Everything they do is to the beat of their own drums. Right. They do all of this their own stuff. I mean, I really do think for episode 3, it's just going to be one day you wake up and it's on Steam. And then it'll just be they threw a switch and it'll sell it crazy.
Am I still dreaming?
Valve knows all too well the value of pre-orders at this point.
True, that's true.
Yeah, there's no way they will do that.
All right, but what I'm saying is it's just what are they? They're not. I don't think in Gabe Newell's head they're competing with Microsoft and Sony. You know what I mean? I don't think they need to be seen there doing that.
They are in that they're now putting out their own OS.
Sure.
So they are, and they're trying to take.
They are about to compete for the living room gaming
TV. Yeah.
Right. So that is putting them head-to-head competition with consoles. So I do think that they are digging in to compete with those in that arena.
Yeah.
Which is going to be interesting because it's not an apples to apples comparison between a PC and a console.
Right, but this goes back to the fact there's 17 Steam boxes too.
Right, I mean
that's why I still don't think they're thinking that they're competing on the same level. If they were, then why wouldn't there be one Steam box that you go and say this is what you have to buy?
Because PCs don't work that way.
It seems a little half-hearted.
That's why PC gaming sucks.
What does?
Just their whole Steam box thing or whatever. It seems a little bit like you kind of want us to do this, and we don't really want to. I still think we're missing the main thing. It's the same thing with Apple. Steam is anti-establishment. Valve is anti-establishment, and they don't need E3. E3 is very conventional. E3 is very old school. E3 is very the big three. That's their playground. Valve doesn't need to be there, and even though they've been there, and they were at PlayStation's conference a few years ago and stuff like that. But Valve is so far ahead of what everyone else is doing. We talked about this, I think, on a couple Game Scoops ago. What Microsoft tried to do with Xbox One was what Valve already does. And console gaming is so far behind, and the mentality of console gamers is so far behind in many ways that we're just not ready for it yet. So Valve should just keep pioneering and doing cool things, and then it'll eventually trickle down the consoles anyway, inherently. I've always, I'm not a PC gamer at all. I mean, I play Civilization and a few other things, but other than that, I don't play games on PC. But I've always really appreciated what Valve does because I think that they have great vision, and I don't think that vision is served at a place like E3, like Dan was saying. And I also think E3's importance is quickly fading. I've said it for several years. I think Gamescom is going to be the next big show, and I think
attendance-wise, it's already much bigger.
My 2 Gamescoms, I went 2011, 2013. Noticeable difference between those two shows, those 2 years, in terms of attendance, in terms of
Getting bigger?
just getting huge. Even Sony's conference from 1 year. 1 year, their conference was in a room with like 300 chairs. The next was like in this massive auditorium. Like Valve, if they wanted to start going to a show, especially a consumer-facing show where their people are, would go to Gamescom. And so I think that, as E3 falls in prominence and as we spend more time focusing on Gamescom, so too will we find some of these random-ass companies, maybe like Apple and maybe like Valve at one of those places. Because they don't need to speak to us because they don't care about us. They want to speak to the people that buy their stuff,
And again, I don't think Valve will ever announce a game at E3. Like that's just not their way.
style.
Like they don't need to. They've got a direct pipeline.
You mean anymore? Didn't they announce like Left 4 Dead or Left 4 Dead 2?
I don't recall, but like I don't think
Portal
they're
2.
Yeah.
They walked out on
so.
PlayStation. That's what he was referencing earlier when Gabe came out to talk about Portal coming to PlayStation. But that wasn't like the announcement.
That wasn't the announcement.
That was more them saying like, "Oh, we're sorry about what we said about PlayStation 3."
Right.
Figured out how to make games.
And
work
now
on
we
pricing.
figured this out, and we understand that there's money to be made.
But I don't think they have anything to gain by announcing something at the same time everyone else announces it. I think they've already got this direct pipeline to something like 75 million PC gamers. Every time you fire up Steam, it can pop up a thing saying, "Hey, look what you can get now." When they announce a game, they'll do it that way.
Sure.